Welcome to the Home Goals Podcast. This podcast contains themes of an adult nature, therefore it's suitable for anyone over the age of 18. Thank you. Welcome to Home Goals Podcast number 2. Today's theme topic is on mental health. So I'm joined again by Nicholas Gillett, and we've also got guest James/Jimmy Harrington. Good evening, fellas. How are you doing?
All right, thank you. Good evening.
All
right.
We met Nick last week. So I'll start with you, Jimmy. Just tell us a little bit about yourself. How we know you for the viewers.
I've been volunteering for Fit Rovers, I'd say, for about 2.5 years now. Come up on week 7 of the chaps group, and just speaking about mental health and mental health in sport and just mental health in general in society, and speaking out from that as well. About 18 months ago, started setting up the Tuesday class with Neil Barron, who's part of you guys, a volunteer up there, doing boxing on a Tuesday evening. And then in last few weeks, we started introducing the women into the Tuesday night groups. So it's going good.
Selling yourself short a little bit. You've done loads of other stuff with us. You did the which day?
Time to talk day.
Time to talk. Yeah, I don't like giving it all that, Nick. I just sit here nice and quiet, as you know.
Yeah. We did the day at college, which was good for us. I think we got 115 students came in as well, and you did.
Then we did. We had that group that come out and did a bit of painting, didn't we?
Yeah.
Over that.
Yes, as well.
NCS won it. Yeah.
NCS group. Yeah. Yeah, we'll come to Sport Awards, which we Terry Harper, didn't we, and Steffi Bull and Jimmy Joe Flint. We come to your Sport Awards last year. Yeah, we've built up some good partnerships. I enjoy it getting up there and just giving back. It's a good crack, good setup.
Yeah,
fantastic what you guys do as well.
Yeah.
Well, I would say in that 2.5 years, Jimmy, that you've been coming and speaking on the men's course, you probably spoke to 200. Maybe more. 200.
I'd say more than that. I'd say more, wouldn't you, Nick?
Yeah, I think we've done.
Yeah.
About 250, and then if you say we did the students, I bet we're knocking on 400 people.
Yeah.
That we've done during our time. From the academy come down as well.
What I love about that day though, and them groups, and we've touched on it before, is each and every time I get in there, there's always somebody that I know or I've had a connection with or I've met, and it's great. It's fantastic. And best one of it come, which you might touch on later, Scott, is when somebody was actually a nurse who looked after me on ward what I were in. He were one of your members, wasn't he? That were a great time, that.
Yeah. So you just touched on it, Jimmy, but from our point of view, obviously on the Fit Rovers men's health course, Jimmy volunteers to come in and speak about his own experience of mental health services and coping mechanisms for mental health and things like that. It works brilliantly for us because if you look at statistics and things like that, it says that men are a lot less likely to seek help for mental health. There's a lot of stigma around mental health in general, but particularly around men's mental health, and that it can be seen as a sign of weakness. So for us, getting someone like Jimmy in, who is a regular Doncaster guy, would you agree, Jimmy?
Yeah, straight down to earth, and I'm all right.
Yeah.
Good for crack, good laugh.
The sessions that you've done, like I say, every time you've done it, it's been different. But every time you've done it, the feedback that we've received has been 100% positive. And I think it is a very difficult subject matter. And we're going to discuss it a lot coming up. And at this point, I'll also take this opportunity to say that anyone listening to this podcast, none of us three are mental health professionals. But what we are going to do is we're going to open up some conversations and we're going to discuss some of our experiences around supporting people to improve their mental health and also our own experience of mental health. The reason why we're doing it this week is it's Mental Health Awareness Week. and the theme this year is kindness.
Kindness, eh?
Kindness,
it's nice to be kind, isn't it?
It is. And I'll come, Jimmy, remind me, I'm going to come back because that is a brilliant story that you've touched upon. On the subject of kindness, though, Mr. Gillett, probably 5-6 weeks ago, Nick, now.
Oh, I think what are we on? I think are we on week 9 of lockdown?
Yeah.
Somewhere around that, yeah.
Yeah, so my little story of kindness, which Scott knows about, is where I live, the house directly opposite me, there's a row of terrace houses, and the house directly opposite, I didn't really know anybody lived there. I've never seen anybody go in it, but there's as daft as it sounds, milkman still delivers milk there, which I don't even know the milkmen still did rounds.
Where's this story going, Nick?
So,
it is a good one.
A good story. So during this sort of lockdown, we realised that it was an old lady that lived there, and obviously we're not allowed to leave the house. And my partner told me, I have seen this old lady going out in a taxi. So we just thought, I wonder what she's gonna do. You know, if she's not a family, or you're meant to be stopping in your house, you're not meant to leave your house. If she can't get out and do any shopping, is she going to be all right? So we basically went across, knocked on. She came to the door, and we just got chatting to her, asked what she was going to do. And she's no family, she's no friends, and she were really panicking that because she's really bad on her legs. Her mobility is not very good. She didn't know what she was going to do. So since then, for the last 9 weeks, every Monday morning, we'll go over and we'll knock on and we'll get her shopping list, and we'll go and we'll do a weekly shop, drop it back off. Middle of the week, we'll just nip over again, have a bit of a chat with her, make sure she's all right. And then we've got to as far as on Sundays now, because we've all been stuck at home, we've started having Sunday dinner every week. So on a Sunday, we'll plate her up a dinner.
Plate her one up, yeah. That's bob on that. Brilliant, that.
And just chatting to her, it's sad that she would have been on her own. I seriously now do worry if we hadn't gone across, what would have happened to her? Because there's no taxis running, there's no buses, she can't get out. She couldn't get out. What would I don't know how she'd have got on. And it's been
sad, innit? Sad, innit, that isolation.
You know that we all know there's millions of other people that are out there that have got this, that probably aren't as fortunate. And it's been rewarding for us that you sort of take her on a little bit and look after her.
Yeah. Do you feel as though you've took that responsibility on now, though, Nick? Or
yes, no, yeah.
Yeah.
I know
it's a big thing, isn't it, to take on?
Yeah, like we said on Sunday, like you sort of feel on Sunday, like, oh, we didn't have a Sunday, I didn't have a Sunday dinner this week. I can't remember. But so even that, we still plated up whatever we'd made and just took that across on Sunday. And she's so grateful. You can tell she appreciates it. She's desperate to talk to you. You know, as soon as you come home, she's waiting for you to, especially Monday morning, she's waiting for you to be knocking on the door.
Yeah, I hope one major positive thing that does come out of this, everyone just is that little bit more thoughtful towards your fellow human, innit?
Definitely.
I think there's quite a few things that come out of that as well, Nick. The fact that you obviously commute 45 minutes to an hour to work, work sort of late a couple of nights, and particularly in winter, you get home, curtains are drawn, and you spend that much time at home to see people like that. And one thing that I've noticed, now I've been at home a little bit more, and particularly on Thursday nights for the Clap for Carers that's been going on, I see people a few doors up, stood on doorstep clapping, and I think, I've literally never seen them before.
Seen you before, yeah.
And there's so much stuff that goes on around here that I've never seen because I'm out fruit day or whatever. And hopefully, as Jimmy was saying, the sense of community
just
does
comes
back a little bit.
back. Yeah, like when I were younger, it were there. But you've just said there though. Could you imagine going through this lockdown and these times we're going through at present on a autumn winter night? You're coming in at 3:30, 4 o'clock, pitch. You know what I mean? Dark. What would that be like?
That's a good thing, and it does. Even though it's not cold and it's not getting dark early, when the weather's not great at the minute, it does make a big impact if you're inside.
Massive for me. I don't know about you two guys, but I know every year when clocks go back and for first 2-3 weeks, I'm a little bit dejected, bit down, bit fed up, bit chevelled off, however you want to word and understand it, and it gets us done it. And then there is that sad syndrome, isn't there? That seasonal depression.
Yeah. Jim, do you know, just coming back to what you said earlier, so you mentioned one time in particular when you recognised someone in the room. So we have now up to 30 guys on these courses, ranging from probably mid-20s to, well, early 80s at some point.
Yeah, there's some oldish chaps, isn't there?
Yeah. So just briefly, for obviously the viewers that have never met any of us or never met you before, tell us a little bit about that situation, how you knew that guy and what that kind of meant to you.
Yeah, so on that particular evening, just coming in as a normal week 7 Thursday, I always have get there early, have a quick chat with people in there and just introduce myself, just have crack up, laugh, and I thought, I recognise him. And it was playing on my mind, and even before it started, he just come up, shook me and gave me a hug, and he went, "Hey up, Jimmy, how are you?" And as soon as he opened his voice, I instantly knew who he was, but I just couldn't remember his name. And he just went, "I looked after you when you were in hospital." And I'd not seen him for, what will it have been? 12, 13 years, maybe more. And it was just brilliant to see him. Fantastic. And it was nice as well to show him where I'd been and what I'd gone through, and then come through other side. And it would just touch me. It really, that was one of my favourite sessions, that. And just going back to what you spoke about earlier, Scott, when you're saying like each one we do is different. Now, I thought about this today before we come on. I thought, well, why is each one of, not that you've asked me this question, but I'd already thought of this. I thought, why is each session that we do different? And the answer that I can give you to that is because, one, it's true, and two, it's not scripted. We're not making it up, and it's how much engagement I get from in the room as well, from people that are participating in it. It's an hard subject to speak about, very hard. When you've got burly fellas in there that are brickies, plasterers, labourers, mechanics, working a boozer, whatever, they don't want to. But once
we're encouraging them to talk, and
yes,
like what good is the sessions that we do if we then don't allow them to bring their own experiences if they feel comfortable? And obviously we're also challenging their thought process and things. I'm sure for everyone that kind of speaks out, and there is every session that I've done with you with this, there's always, and the statistics say that a quarter of the people in that room at that particular time will be suffering from mental health.
A4, won't they?
Yeah. But there's always been at least one person that's put their hand up and said, "Yeah, I've suffered with anxiety or depression or whatever it is."
You can just see as well, okay? It's got that lift from them as soon as they speak, and you can see it. And people have come up to me afterwards and they've been saying, "God, I've wanted to say that in public for time." It took me 6 years to speak about it in this sort of format. And I've spoke to you before, Scott, and I think I've told you, Nick, the reason why I did it. That young kid, 16-year-old lad, hung himself in his bedroom, a young boxer from Manchester. And that it gave me such a kick up the arse. I thought, what are you doing, man? You can be helping these people. Just go and tell bit of story, you might get people say, shut up, you idiot, or people might resonate to it and they might understand it. And if we're just helping one person, that one person's massive. Now, that young kid.
That was biggest thing that got me when first time you ever came. I had that sort of that anxiety of, I don't know how this is gonna go. What happens if he tells his story and it's just silent? And I was panicking. How do we get people to? And I think I've seen it now 10 or 12 times.
Yeah.
And never one session and nobody talk at the end. And it's still, every time you do it, it still blows my mind that people feel confident enough that night because like Scott said earlier, you're up to like 30 blokes in there. And by that time, they've only spent, 30 weeks, 7, only spent sort of 14 hours together, 2 hours a week.
Yeah.
And it's not like you know these people really well. And to stand up or just to say, yeah, I've suffered like this, or I've had this experience, every time still shocks me that people.
I think again though, Nick. I think it's, excuse me, mate. I think it's because it's real, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're not trying to like talk down to them. We're not like Scott said initially. We're not professionals. We're not this. We're not that. You could have got a doctor or a professional in there, and it'd just been boring. I think
that's why we chose though. When Neil obviously put us on to you, and we'd said we didn't want to get a doctor. We didn't want a psychologist. We didn't want a psychiatrist. We didn't want anybody like that in that were going to come in and potentially use big words
and read a load of numbers and facts out.
Yeah, because that's not gonna. To probably 95% of blokes we work with, that's not going to resonate. It's not going to go in at all. Whereas,
no.
And I've said this to you before. What I love about it is you came in, you talk like they do, you look like they do, you wear the same clothes they do. There's no fancy words. The first thing you'll say before you start is, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychiatrist, I've not been to university, I've not done all these sort of qualifications around this. It's
God, you make me sound the right thing.
Yeah, it's my story, and I think that's the bit that gets over to them, that it's what goes on in real world.
Gosh, it is real out there, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's horrible, and it is getting worse, though, lads, isn't it? Do you know, like what we're on now, these phones, these platforms, these social media way to present yourself. I tell it to my kiddies in gym. It's like they'll watch professional boxers and they'll think that that's how they actually do go and train, because there's that 20-second to just grab that attention and bosh, and everything's, they want it now, don't they?
I've just been running.
Haven't you?
Yeah, sorry.
Have you got something regarding social media on this subject?
Yeah. And it's interesting what Jimmy's just said. So, particularly at the current time, I think we're all spending...
Am I spoiling your session here, Scott? I'm sorry. I keep going ahead, don't I?
No, I think we're all spending a bit more time on his phones. Obviously, I've got iPhone. It's got the screen time thing on it. And it's like, your screen time is up by 6 hours this week. And I don't
want to tell you what mine's been doing lately. Bloody hell.
It's not surprising, though. But as Jim was saying, with the social media stuff, we create an environment on there, and I've just been out running, and I'm running along, and I'm blowing and I'm thinking to myself, all I could think about was how I've seen on Facebook earlier that Scott McTominay from Manchester United is running 5K in 16 minutes, and I'm thinking,
did it on a bike, didn't he?
I'm thinking, wow, I'm unfit. But then
I actually heard a story about him. I don't know if this is true. It's not bad, lads. It's not bad. That on this, what you're speaking about, he kept running though each 5K he did.
Yeah.
Did he keep running a K though, stopping and then going again?
No. That's
what I'd heard though.
Right.
So
what I've seen is it said
actually
he'd
in a
done it
oneer.
in negative splits, which meant that he'd done the second K faster than the first and the third faster than the second.
Yeah. So that might be true then if we put both parts of that story together. So that's how we might get it then.
Yeah.
Is it?
But basically, that you can link that to anything. You'll link it, Jimmy, to boxing in a similar situation, but people's body image.
No, we don't. Boxers don't tell lies.
I think, Jimmy, you mentioned this earlier, but what I want to touch on a little bit more is the sessions that you do for us, and I think we can link in one particular participant at some point quite easily. But obviously the theme of kindness is linked around, and we speak about this in our Thursday night sessions, the 5 ways to well-being, the connect, give, take notice, keep learning, and be active. Neil, who volunteers with Fit Rovers and volunteers and supports you on a Tuesday, obviously giving and being kind and putting things in for other people. And I know, I mean, we don't pay you a lot, peanuts for these Tuesday sessions, so you're definitely not doing it for the money.
Nick, what is it? Well, I'm not. Well, we'll go back to like earlier. Hello, Millie, you've come in that chat here. When we're on about, I didn't go to university and I didn't go to this and I didn't go to that, but I can still work out nothing from nothing equals nothing.
Yeah. So, Jimmy,
listen, it's not about money. It's not about money.
No, so tell us what it is about.
If you offered to pay me, I won't take it. I won't want it. I won't want it. I won't want it. It's about giving back. It's my way in my own head of just thinking, well, I'm here. Like in this story, we haven't spoke about it, and we don't need to. But I made an attempt on my life, and I shouldn't really even be here, but I am here. So it just makes me feel better of giving back, and just that sense of, I don't know. It's just a nice feeling to be able to help and to see people as well that have been struggling, and people have come up to me who've been struggling, and they've thanked me, and they've said if this sessions and the sessions I've done, like with the Fit Rovers and the speaking on the Thursdays of the week 7, if I'd not done it, they didn't know where they'd be. And like meeting you guys, and you must get the same feeling as me. It's great, isn't it? That.
And I think the people in general, Jimmy, who come down on a Tuesday, I mean, without doing any discredit to our participants, male and female, but they're not the usual people a lot of the time who you find in the boxing gym, are they? Or a lot of them,
not at all. But even my sessions that I've always done, I won't just have specific what you'd think I'd walk into a boxing gym. It's our ethos is open for all, and that's why the name of it is Freedom Boxing Club, and the charity that we reset up, well, the Spirit of Freedom Project, and it's even in its name, isn't it? Freedom. We don't want and this and this. We want people to come in there and express themselves and be free and enjoy it more than all.
What I love about it on Tuesdays as well is, like you mentioned earlier, Jimmy Joe, like a number of times we've seen pictures of like Jimmy Joe giving up their time as well to support the project, helping Mark, spending time showing, like just working with some of them.
Yeah. It's just, that's a two-way process though. That's Jimmy giving his time up, because what you have to look at there is, and he's not a daft lad, he's a smart kid. He's thinking, well, these people, I'm a professional athlete. I need my fan base. I can't just study here and like, look, I'm a professional boxer. I'm not talking to you. Well, I ain't going to get him nowhere, is it?
But then I think that's you could go the other way though, because you mentioned earlier about these kids sort of see these 20-second clips, and think, that for Jimmy Joe though, Jimmy Joe could be thinking, I'm a professional boxer, I don't need to entertain this.
That's it. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Not.
But he's not. He's a smart kid. He's thinking, no, I can't just rely on this, and this. I've got to be real, and he is real. None of it's pretend. None of it's scripted, or do you know what I mean? He's a real kid as you've spent time with him, and not just him. It's like there's Josh has even been down when Fit Rovers have been in.
Yeah, that's another great thing for them people as well, to be able to say they're trained at facility that world champion boxers and up and coming trained at. I know, obviously, again, loads of people have benefited from the boxing sessions as part of their like healthy lifestyle changes and improving mental and physical health. Perhaps no one more so than Paul Reynoldson.
Yeah. Paul's loved it, hasn't he? He joins in me in Natural Freedom Boxing Club sessions as well. I think he's in there more than me.
Paul will not mind us saying this, but when Paul started the Fit Rovers course in January 2018, he were a last minute addition. He kind of called up dead keen, and not unfortunately, we've always had full courses, but we were due to start and we had a bit of a waiting list. And literally, no sooner had we put the phone down, someone called up and dropped out. So we thought, why don't we just give him a chance? He seemed dead up for it. We know he'll come. So we give him a call. He were over at Moon. And since then, he's I think he's lost like 60% of his body weight from that moment in time.
Yeah, I didn't know him in this times, Scott, but I had seen pictures, and yeah, he was a big lad, wasn't he?
And boxing's been massive for that for him.
That's, again, because I didn't want to name... I'm not one of them, not name names, but he's one of them that's come up to me and actually said, I don't know where I'd be if it weren't for like what we do and what you guys do. He didn't know where he'd be and what he'd be doing.
Yeah, well, there's a reason I've spoke about Paul in particular. And Nick, tell us, because I'm not kind of privy to this information. I can't remember exactly how it played out, but you received a phone call or an email from BBC.
Yes. So
go on, tell us the story.
I had a phone call, and it was just, I didn't know it well, just this bloke saying, oh yeah, I work for BBC. We're looking at making a documentary around mental health. Do you have any blokes who are sort of between 20 and 40? And I was like, yeah, we've got a few, and so on. And every time I asked a question, they were just really vague. They'd never tell me what it were about. They were always really sort of vague and just sort of skirting around everything. And I think I had about 5.
Can I interrupt you here? Did I not get asked because my language would be too fruitful for him?
100%. That's why.
That's all right then.
And then I must have had 5 or 6 phone calls, and I literally couldn't get anything out of them. I kept saying about someone who's a little bit older than what you want, but I think that you should. And I felt bad. I'm trying to tell this bloke how to do his job. I'm saying, well, so does some of these older blokes suffer just as much as younger blokes with mental health and things like that? I think you're doing it a disservice, not taking them out. Anyway, so I gave him Paul's name, and I just lost my patience, to be fair, because I was getting nowhere.
Pushing buttons, Nick.
Yeah. Gave him Paul's name, phoned Paul up and said, look, this bloke's, do you mind this if I give you this sort of bloke your number? It's about this. I genuinely don't know what he really wants, Paul. So I gave him Paul was like, yeah, sound. Gave him Paul's number. And then from there, sort of Paul, again, didn't really get told anything, just got invited down to Cambridge. Is it Cambridge United? Cambridge United's ground, play football. They just said, yeah, just come down. It's just going to be a day of football, and you're just going to tell your story. So that was it. That was my sort of involvement. And then the night I think it'd been, I got a phone call at about 10:30 at night. Paul said, right, everything all right? Yeah. I said, how's it gone? He said, really good. He said, I cannot believe what's happened. I said, go on. So he said, so we had a kick about. They asked me about my sort of story about my mental health and the issues I'd had. And then that was it. He said, so it was only 30 minutes. So I'm thinking, God, a bit of a waste of time, that. Anyway, so then 2 minutes later, they said, oh, we've got some other people that are going to come out and have a bit of a kick about. So then we had Thierry Henry came out, Peter Crouch came out.
You must have heard about this, Jimmy.
Yeah, I had, yeah.
And then obviously, as everybody knows, like at the end, it was Prince William that came out. And Paul's
Southgate and all.
Southgate, Paul's dined out on this for 2 years. But yeah, I think, like you said, Paul, great example.
Yeah.
He don't call him Thierry Henry, he just calls him Thierry now.
Thierry.
The tight.
RT. I was knocking leather about with RT.
The good thing about Paul as well, and Paul's he's done a few interviews with us for bits and bobs, and he's on our committee as one of the welfare reps. But Paul was a mental health nurse as well, so he'll openly say that he was helping people to deal with their mental health, but struggling to kind of look after his own mental health. And I think,
because surely it's going to impact on you, isn't it, when you've got in that environment and in that profession, if you've got people's struggles and woes playing on you day in, day out, it's going to have some impact on you, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's where the exercise comes in.
Yeah.
The exercise can be a good release. Let's
you
go on.
You always talk about sort of your coping mechanisms as well, don't you? Being, like you always laugh about you like structure in your day.
Oh yeah, you got to have structure. You need structure anyway, don't you? Everybody needs structure, but mine is. I had to do an interview today with it being Mental Health Week, and this guy messaged me. We were due for 11 a.m. and he messaged. We know each other really well, and he said, "Oh, can we rearrange for 11:30?" And first thing is like when we started, he went, "I'm sorry, I've messed your day up," and he had. He'd messed me down. I told him, I went, "Yeah, you have. Just got to tell him."
Because I always like, whenever you come to the subject and you always laugh about it, you will ask me 20 times.
What time?
What time?
What time do you want me there? I've asked you when I, Scott. Have I texted you?
And you always say, how long will it take this? Because I've got to be at so-and-so for this time. And I'll answer that. And when it's time, you'll ask me again. And it is that, that is your thing about your day is rigid.
Yeah, Scott, I have messaged you on here, don't I? How long we're going to be doing this for?
I've just been in shower and I only did smelly bits because I was pushing it for time and I didn't be late. But
no, it's just where I am. I don't know why. I don't know. I think what it is, it's like when I've talked before on this, I think it's that sense of failing that, God, I've let them down. Do you know what I mean? That's where it is. This is weird, right? I was talking about this on time, yeah. It's like, I go football. I'm a Liverpool fan now. I go watch Liverpool. Game finished at 4:45, 100 miles to Liverpool, And I'll say to my missus, I'll be on for just after 7 o'clock. She'll go, why are you telling me you're going to be on at 7 while you fit traffic? And if I got her in now and I said to her, what does it wind you up? She'll just go, but yeah, it drives me mad. She'll say, how are you going to know you're going to be home at 7 o'clock?
The routine stuff though, that's something that I wanted to come on to, obviously with the current situation that we're in.
Yeah.
And we're escaping a little bit out of it at the minute, but how do we think the current coronavirus pandemic is going to impact on people's mental health immediately and in the future? What's his thoughts?
My thoughts, massive, because even at present, the people that are in the mental health service users, all our appointments have been cancelled. So there's going to be a backlog for actual patients and people that are in the system now without getting new patients and people that are suffering. And I've said from day one, I think it's going to be a lot bigger than the actual illness itself when you look at it, that it's going to impact on and how it's going to hit the NHS system. It's going to be massive.
Jim, before this, like we said about your day being structured, around the gym and things like that. So how have you coped then? Because I'm sure you're not seeing your boxers.
Oh no, but I've started. I've got my own gym, so my day's been exactly really the same. Get up in the morning, walk dog, go for a paper, jump in my car, go to the gym, spend X amount of time in there, come back, have my lunch, have a sleep because I'm a lazy get. Plan me. Well, I don't sleep, so I sleep as and when, and that's been that for time. But that's through.
What about like action though, because you're like, so if Jimmy Joe's fighting,
Yeah.
how often do you see Jimmy Joe? Jimmy Joe's fighting 6 weeks.
In a camp, you just broke up there.
Yeah.
We've only been a novice pro anyway. I only spent once a day with him anyway.
Yeah.
Because he's only up to a 6-round fighter, so he don't need me to be spending 3 times a day with him.
Okay. But obviously,
so I only see him once a day. Yeah, so that's been taken out of my day.
So how's that?
This is what I'm going to come to. This has been challenging for me through these times. It's been rotten.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it sent me into a relapse or anything like that, but it has affected me, and has impacted on me and on my own mental health.
Because this is what I mean, and I think this is, as you know, the amount of we work with so many different men and women that that were my worry, that all this stopped. So again, without naming names, we've got a few people that Fit Rovers for them is massive, and maybe not because of the taking part in physical activity and things like that, but more the social side of things, that the live social interaction. So them coming to one session or 2 sessions a week
might be their only interaction all week.
They're only 2 hours a week might be their only social interaction they have. And I think something why Scott and Lauren have been so good and so positive in keeping the online stuff going, that it's just that interaction. Even if they're running a session, like a live exercise session, even if you're not doing it, you can't be bothered to do a session, but just signing in and seeing other people.
And just been there, innit, in that group.
Yeah,
it's that sense of belonging, Nick. That's what you're probably looking for here. It's that sense of being part of something, innit? You've got a purpose. You've got that meaning to get up and go. It gives you that vigor, that bite, that drive.
Something earlier which kind of brought something back to me about the bad day that you had when you just like wrote it off. A local radio station got in contact with us about how our participants were dealing with the current situation, what their exercise levels were like and things like that. And openly and honestly, I said that people still have bad days, people have good days, but I think what they realise when the mental health is in a good position is that it's natural to have these bad days.
Yeah.
And I think when your mental health is at a point where
it comes consecutive.
It's when every day is a bad day.
Yeah, when a pattern forms. Yeah, that's when you need to. That's brilliant. That because some people it's hard to identify. I can identify. We all get chevelled off. We all get fed up. Every one of us. It could have just been, you know what I mean, just a bit fed up, just not quite with it. But if that had gone into 2, 3, 4, 5 days, I would have done something about it because I know that it's out of character. I'm presenting early signs of a drop in mood. Am I starting to become depressed? What stages? What are my coping strategies? How am I going to get out of this? I want to just let it fester but that's only because I've got a lot of insight and education into my own mental illness. Yeah. And that's what these sessions are about, aren't they? It's identifying these days you're feeling a little bit chevelled off, a little bit down under weather, fed up, or is it early signs of no, this is a little bit more serious? And then as you get into that, if you start identifying it, being that a little bit more serious, right? Don't just ball it up. Don't just let it fester, because then your small little, what could be just a small little minute thing could resonate into a big, massive, what you can't get out of.
The biggest credit to us three in the jobs that we do, coming back to what Nick was saying about the fear that people kind of won't come back to the sessions or that they were dropping off from the habits that they've formed, is that obviously we're trying to make people not reliant on what we do. So we're trying to, although people come in and they're enjoying the boxing sessions or they're enjoying the Fit Rovers sessions, we want them to realise that they're in control of their lives and the decisions that they make. And one positive thing that's come out of this, from our point of view, is the evidence of how people have made lifestyle changes, how they've adapted to the differences. And yeah, they can't come to the usual sessions that they really enjoy, but they've started walking or cycling or running or doing some.
Yeah, and that's all because of what you've introduced to them, isn't it? Or we've introduced to them.
Yeah, and that's the resilience that people have got as well, to not think, oh well, I can't go to my boxing session, so I can't exercise.
Yeah,
they built that resilience up through the sessions that they've took part in and the journey that they've been on. And that's something else I said in the radio interview, is that I feel like people, men and women who are participants of Fit Rovers, are dealing with this a lot better than they would have done if had they not been members of Fit Rovers, because of the support that they've got from other members of Fit Rovers, because of the journey that they've been on with the project, and because of the support that they've got from staff and the access to the sessions and things. The isolation stuff. So in terms of the current pandemic, there are a few things that kind of stood out for me. Isolation we've touched on. Job insecurity can obviously have a massive effect on people's mental health. There's a lot of people been placed on the job retention scheme. Obviously, I'm in process of buying a house, and it's an uncertain time.
Yeah, deaths, isn't there?
Yeah,
that's going to have a massive impact. Yeah, bereavement factor
relationships.
of it all.
There's a lot of people who have not been able to, if they don't live with a partner, have not been able to see the partners for a long time. So that's that places strain on people as well.
Yeah, and then there's flip side to that. There's people that potentially could have been in lockdown that don't want to be with each other, but they've got nowhere else to go.
Yeah, and I think again, this is why when we're talking about the impact of the current situation on mental health services and on people's mental health, all them things that we've spoke about can significantly impact on people's mental health, and ultimately, mental health services have been short-staffed and overwhelmed for a long time. I read a quote from a newspaper when I was looking into this sort of stuff, and it said that mental health services could expect a tsunami of mental illness. That's the term.
That's like I was going back earlier. I said from the get-go here in all this pandemic, when it started kicking off, I says, well, wait till it all starts unfolding and coming out and panning out. You're going to see people that just going into the mental health services. It's just going to be an epidemic just on that front there.
Obviously, one of the more common kind of mental health issues, anxiety. I've recently gone back, now the government allowing us, gone back to one of my favourite pastimes, playing a bit of golf. And it feels so weird to be out of the house, to be mixing, even in a socially distant manner, to be mixing with people that you've not seen for 7-8 weeks. And I think that anxiety of, am I going to catch coronavirus?
Yeah, you can. Without even mentioning the golf there, Scott, and you might have picked up on it, Nick. I go walk dog, and people, you can see them like giving it all that walking past you. It's just natural reactions, isn't it? Because they're thinking, am I keeping me 2 meters? Am I doing this? Am I doing that?
I think first time it sort of really hit home for me, I think it was about second week of lockdown. And I'll be honest, I'd not been out. I didn't need to. We had food at house, kids were at house. I didn't need to go out. And I went to the supermarket, and I'm one of these. I weren't worried. I weren't frightened or anything. And I went to the supermarket, and everybody had got the masks on, were keeping away, and I didn't have a mask. You know anything? Oh, this is real, there. And I started a little panic. God, should I have a mask?
I don't want to change subject on any of this, but when you're walking around that supermarket, if you walk wrong way round, you get shouted at, don't you? Hey, I can't get my head around this. You've got, hypothetical name, you've got Jean here. She's mauled and felt and ragged all bananas, all tomatoes, chucked them all back, and you're like, what's happening here?
But
let's change subject there. So
positive. All right, I'll give a positive then.
Pardon? No, it's not. But no. But yours were positive. Mine was the negative, wasn't it? I'm just like, I can't get my head around it.
My positive is
that made me anxious when I've seen them all in up bananas.
My positive is, like I said to Corpse, that for me, we work long hours, weekends. My partner works full time, and with 3 kids. And the only time that I get to spend sort of a considerable amount of time with my kids, or a consistent amount of time with my kids, is, if you go on holiday for 2 weeks, it's summer.
Yeah. Now that's taken away from you at a minute, isn't it?
Yeah, but I've got I've been in house now for 9 weeks with 3 kids.
Yeah.
And it's the fact that sort of we eat together, we do things together. Whereas sometimes
you're building them bonds, aren't you? And then making them memories.
100%. But then the worry again is
when it comes to about normality, yeah.
That kid's getting too attached now that when they've to go back to school, or when like a little boy goes back to nursery, things like that. How is it going to affect him?
Because that's gonna bring that out, innit, into people, that anxiousness there, innit? I've got to get back out and.
Yeah, like my little boy is in nursery, and we just got to the stage where, taking him into nursery, they weren't screaming, weren't crying. You didn't feel that he got to a point now where he knew what he was doing, take his own coat off, and he were in, because it had become his routine. Like, again, we're going back to a routine.
Yeah.
Whereas now, when he goes back, it's going to go start again, where he's become used to being with us all day, every day, and now his mum and dad have gone again, and he's not seen them. He's only seen them a couple of hours a day. Yeah. It's that we probably take for granted. But like, my positive has been that I've got to spend time with, eat together, whereas we come in at different times. So like sometimes it's like ships that pass at night.
Yeah.
So that's been positive for me, is that I've got to spend.
That's it though. Is that it's going to potentially impact on you and me, and when we go back to some form of normality, innit? Like, we are back to out here, there, everywhere, and passing the ships at nights. We are loved ones, innit? Because I've spent time with mine, and it's great, innit? And that's what, like, in our, as coaches in boxing, we've all talked about it. Do we want to go back? Yeah, the answer is yeah. But you're like, I've got used to being with this, doing that.
Mm-hmm. Nick, when he was saying about supermarkets, I've been out on Transpennine Trails, not far from my house, and obviously it's a great way to get out, get some exercise, get away from traffic and things like that. And so one of the good things is so many people have been out walking, cycling, jogging. One of the promotions that I saw as part of this mental health awareness week with a kindness theme is just literally to smile and wave and say hello at people that you pass. And that is a pet hate of mine. When you're kind of riding along and you're looking and someone's passing you, and they don't even give you eye contact. And I think now more than ever, particularly when we're only allowed out for half an hour or an hour or whatever it was, if I'm passing a few people on a walk just to sort of say hello, sometimes my girlfriend will say to me, "Who was that?" And I'm like, I don't know. I'm just being friendly.
This is honest. And if Kerry were here with me now, she'll back me up. I don't physically make them talk, but if I walk past people, I go, all right, you just do it, don't you? I said, well, yeah. Do you know what I mean? Ignorant, aren't they? I'm just like, all right, how are you? So can you do it even more if they don't talk to you?
Yeah, I think obviously no one likes to talk about it. It's not a comfortable situation, but the situation with Caroline Flack and with so many other young people, suicide is the biggest killer of men under the age of 40, I think.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people that are sort of getting.
Yeah, well, when you look at me, I statistically I fell in that bracket. Didn't I? I was 29 when I made an attempt on my life. So yeah statistically.
And I suppose the whole point of us doing this is to show people that, one, the statistics say, we're saying through our own experiences that it's not uncommon what you're feeling. What is important is obviously that you recognise how you feel, what's important to you, and do things to try and safeguard your mental health. Seek support of professionals. We've said we're not professionals, but obviously there are things such as Samaritans and things that you can ring in first.
A mind, isn't they? And
and your GP is. Let's sum this up then by saying individually what, and quite brief. I know Jimmy's got his tea to get, but what,
I think they've had it. It don't matter. I'm all right.
What dogs had it?
I can smell it. It smells nice.
What would we say to anyone watching on the subject of mental health? Just one bit of advice.
Mental health from me at minute. Reach out. Don't reach out. Don't bottle things up. Don't try and not worry about things that are out of your control. Like at this stage in time, out of all of our control is when this ends. None of us know. I don't know. You don't know. You. None of us.
Yeah.
So just don't worry about the things, and that's easier said than done because we all worry. I worry more than anyone. But just try your best to digest things, and just be honest with yourself. And I've said this before on that, and I know you said be quick, so apologies on this. I've said this before in our meetings, Anna, Scott, and you might have heard me, Nick. I've said be selfish. Now people are going to be sitting there thinking, what's he on about? Be selfish. I've got 4 kids. I've got all this. I've got that. And I don't mean forget about everyone and don't be kind because this is what it's all been about. I'm meaning when I'm saying be selfish, look after you. You out there, I'm pointing at you. Look after you. Because if you can't look after yourselves, you're not going to be able to look after your X amount of kids, run your house, be good in your job. If you're not looking after yourself first and foremost, have that moment. Just ask yourself and take yourself to your side. Are you happy? Are you all right? Is everything good? Give yourself some love. Give yourself some sugar in it, Nick.
Yeah.
That taught me though, through this time, this sort of, and out like having an hour a day. I'm not the most manual-minded person in the world. I've no manual skills whatsoever. I'm useless. And in this 9 weeks, I've jet washed my drive, painted my decking, I've painted my garden fence. Today I've chopped some trees down, and like for my mental health, having that, hour.
And that's been good, hasn't it? That's just doing
that hour.
Some chores that have needed doing, so you've give yourself a kick up backside there and gotten them done. But like you said, you've challenged yourself and you've thought, well, you've openly admitted I'm not the best, but I've had a go, and that's it, and you felt better after it, I suppose, haven't you?
Yeah, definitely. But it's just having that little bit of time.
Yeah.
To me, it has been difficult. Like I said, we're both, me and my partner, we're both still working. We're technically both still working. We're working from home, but with 3 kids in the house.
Yeah.
And
so all your circumstances have changed, haven't they?
Completely. But it has been important to make sure, like, even if it's just going, like Scott said earlier, went for a run, or take your dog for a walk, like you said, Jim, or going shopping. Just doing, I know it's like a mundane task, but doing the weekly shop gets me out of house for an hour and a half, where I ain't got kids. Can I have a drink? Can I have something?
Yeah, and now that's not been selfish. It's just for you, innit? Yeah, it's keeping you right, innit? Yeah.
So when I get home, I'm better.
No, I don't want everyone in Fit Rovers group now coming back saying, well, Jim says I've got to be selfish, so I went out every Friday night and I did this and I did that. It's not about that, guys.
No. Alcohol is not a good coping mechanism for mental.
No.
But
can I just ask one last question to anyone out there? If there's anyone on dark web, if there's anyone ready to give me a quick trim up, I'm open to offers because that is bad.
Social distancing cut with clippers on end of a brush.
That's why I said on dark web, didn't I?
Come down mine after as well.
There's a few ferrets in here somewhere, I think.
My funnily enough, my advice were pretty much along the same lines as you two, but I'm not going to change it because it is important. So my advice to anyone would be find out what is important to you and make sure that you are allocating enough time to that. Look at ways now is a good opportunity to try new things, to pick up a new hobby. At the start of lockdown, I started doing a little bit of yoga and I really enjoyed that and felt good. And that a brilliant kind of release, 30 minutes, just sort of meditating as such. Have that time for yourself, whether it be listening to music, having a bath, going for a walk. There's obviously through the Home Goals YouTube and that, there's loads of activity sessions on there suitable for all abilities. So even if you've never been active, or if you usually are very active, but a lot of what you do is outdoor or is group exercise and you can't do that, then find an alternative. You never know, you might actually like it and hopefully you'll feel better afterwards. Has anyone got anything else to add?
No, I think you've touched on everything there, and
Brill. Well,
hopefully things are back to a little bit of normality soon, eh, guys?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank first of all Nick for joining us again and giving his take on things and his advice. Hopefully, the people that are listening or watching this will find it useful. We'll also put the organisations that we spoke about. We'll put the links to those in the description. And yeah, thanks to Jimmy for coming in.
Always enjoy spending time with you guys.
It could be a while before
this could be the new norm, and it's gone all right.
Yeah. So thanks a lot. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.
Goodbye.